It lends itself to a destination.
I'll give it just a moment.
We're good.
All right, let's call this meeting to order, September 22nd, 2025, Board of Zoning Appeals. Can I have the roll call, please?
You may. Sorry, I have too many sheets. Susan Ralston is out. Chris Thomas.
Here.
Bill Rowe.
Here.
Jeff Martin.
Present.
And David Rowe.
Here.
Our city attorney, Kim Shaw.
Here.
And myself, Rita Hicks. We have a quorum, sir.
All righty, approval of the previous minutes, July 28th. We're going to combine those with our October meeting. So on to old business.
Okay.
Action.
We do have a new member, and he's been a member for several months now. This is Jeff Martin. And I think all you guys know Jeff but this is his first meeting. He was unable to make one, and then we've had canceled BZA. We haven't had any petitions. So this is Jeff's first BZA meeting. He sat on Plan Commission for many, many years. 18 years. So he's pretty seasoned with Plan Commission, but Board of Zoning Appeals is a new board for him, you guys. So please make him feel welcome and be nice.
Thank
You are welcome.
You're welcome. All right. Has everybody signed in? Let's come in. Okay, this meeting is being recorded. And why don't we start with our first item of business, 2025 BZA 09001, Development Standard Variance.
Okay. So as Phil stated, this is case 2025 BZA 09001, Development Standard Variance. The owner is Love's Travel Stop. Applicant is Frank Illy and Kevin Coop of Effective Images. Location is 3443 West Maumee Street. The section is sign standards, directional sign area, directional sign height. Current zoning is highway commercial. Today is the hearing day. 8 property owners were served legal notices about the project, and this is not within a floodplain. So project summary, Love's Travel Stop is requesting 2 variances for 2 new directional signs. The requested variances are for section 18.180080, directional sign area and directional sign height. In 2014, the board granted variance requests for the area and height of the existing directional signs that are on site. So I'm assuming, board, all of you are familiar with this location. And I thought we had, you can kind of see on the pictures, but I thought we had some better, I don't know what I was thinking, but you see the auto entrance on that second picture. If you look close here and on your handouts, those directional signs, and there's one here, they are already at the same height that they're requesting. So they are replacing a couple panels, and I can let the petitioner speak on that, but they are also adding 2 new directional device signs. So the board did grant that variance in 2014. The proposed new signs will match the existing signs at 15 square foot per sign face with a height of 7 feet. The proposed new directional signs will be to direct traffic through the new RV hookups that Love's will soon be providing. There will be 1 sign located at the entrance of the RV area and 1 at the exit. Section 18.180080, sign standards, permanent signs, and directional device signs shall not exceed 3 square feet in area per side per entrance. So that's the area of it. The sign height is that they shall not exceed 36 inches. So they are requesting, instead of 3 square feet, 15 square feet per side, and instead of 36 inches in height, which is what is allowed, they are requesting 7 feet in height, which again is what those existing signs are out there. The property is zoned highway commercial. To the north is Steuben County, so it's EC Environmental Control and Residential. To the east is Highway Commercial. To the south is also Steuben County zoning as agricultural, and to the west is I-1 Low Intensity Industrial and High Commercial. I had on here that there was no public input. I did have a neighbor from across US 20 stop in this afternoon to ask some questions about what was going on. Once I explained it, he had no objections whatsoever to the signs. In conclusion, staff recommends approval. Granting the variance will allow the 2 new signs to match the existing signs, keeping the visual aesthetic and making it easier for the larger recreational vehicles to see the directional signage. The placement of the new signs will help with traffic flow and potential congestion. And that's all I have, sir.
Alrighty. Petitioner.
I ask if the board has any questions.
Do you have any questions on the staff report? Anybody?
Are the setbacks the same as the original signs? They're just new signs, but they will set back from right of way is the same?
Yes, and the entrance to the RV section is actually internal, so it's not near
Oh, okay.
and then, yes, his exit, next to his exit, if it's in any setback lines or property lines, he has to be 10 foot out of that right of way as usual. So, yeah, we'll ensure that. Good question.
Thank you.
Good. Good.
Okay. Petitioner, if you want.
Yeah, okay. You ready to petition, Mr. Petitioner?
So state your name and your address, and then you can, go ahead.
Name's Frank Illy, I-L-L-E. Address is 10601 North Pennsylvania, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And I'm the director for RV development for Love's Travel Stops. I also was the real estate project manager 11 years ago when we opened up that store. So first I'll address the change out of the faces on the directional signs. Very simply, whatever says autos right now will change into autos and RV hookups. If one side of the sign just has trucks on it, a truck directional, that won't be changed out. But I believe these say autos with a directional arrow and trucks with a directional arrow, directing the right customers to the right driveways. So anywhere that it says autos, it'll now say autos and RV hookups. As for the 2 new signs, they're both internal. One is for the entrance of the RV hookup area, and one is for the exit, simply because there is a directional flow that they need to follow. If they go in the wrong direction, they're just going to have to exit and turn around to go back in the entrance because of the flow, that the way they will pull into their hookup, whether it's a pull through or a back in. So that's why we are requesting the 2 new signs, because there is a distinctive entrance and exit to this. We don't really call it an RV park, but to this little section of RV hookups.
And this is, Frank, can you speak a little bit to that? This is just, they're allowed to stay 24 hours. Is that correct?
Well, we can make it that way. We don't want anybody living at these hookups. We have 110 of these open now. We started this about 2.5 years ago, putting RV hookups at our existing stores and putting RV hookups in at new locations that we're building as well. These are meant for people who are traveling from one place to another, and it's a place for them to stop overnight. The stipulations on how long they can stay, I think our rules and regulations, because we do have 15 independent parks that are separate from our stores, the stipulation there is a 28-day max stay. But I can tell you that the average stay, this is what we call a Model 3, what we're looking at here, which simply means RV hookups in the car parking area. The average stay at these is 1.04 nights per customer. So almost everybody stays 1 night only. These aren't spaces where people come and stay for a week, much less a month. They stay for 1 night, and they just because this is not aesthetically what you would think of as an RV park. Obviously, it's right on the interstate. It's right next to our well-lit car parking area, and it's just strictly for them to have power and Wi-Fi and water for an overnight stay.
Okay. So if you look at this, Jeff, to answer your question, up here at this one, and again, you can't see it on this very well, but where it says the red circle here is where one of those signs will be, and the other one is down here. So they're not inside a right of way, they're more internal. It's just the height of all directional signs that we manage, but. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you, and I can answer any questions you may have.
Okay.
I don't have any.
Open the public.
Okay, anybody in the audience have any questions, concerns, want to speak?
So close the public hearing
Close
and
the public hearing. I do have maybe a concern about the length of stay. People to stay there, for a month, but that's just one concern. I don't.
yeah, I was a little surprised about that, and this probably will not go to development plan approval because it doesn't meet that criteria. So technically, we can only really speak on what's at hand, which is the sign height. I can't say that that's not what was proposed, the potential 28-day, that it was just a 24-hour thing, but we can certainly talk about that. That's a good concern, and I think it's valid. But we can definitely, like he said, typically it's a
1.5 days.
nights or something
1.5
that they
nights.
stay.
Okay.
But no, I think that that's a good concern, and we can address that with them
Okay.
when it comes to development for sure. So I do have findings for both variances. So it ends up being 2 variances for the height and for that area. So I will read the facts of finding for the first one, which is the sign area. The approval of the variance will or will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community.
Will not.
Will not. The approval of the variance will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community, as the request is to match the existing signs, which have been non-injurious. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will or will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner.
Will not.
The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will or will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner, as the request is to match the existing signs which have not been affected by the adjacent properties. The strict application of the terms of the ordinance will or will not result in practical difficulties in the use of the property.
Will.
It will. The strict application of the terms of the ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property, as directional signs are necessary to control the flow of the traffic, which with large vehicles such as RVs, the increased size is necessary for the visibility. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
So you can ask for a motion, and I didn't have any conditions on that.
Okay. And this is for the size.
This is for the sign
Size,
area,
sign
not the
area.
height. Yep.
Not the height. Sign area. Do I have a motion to accept the sign area?
I'll motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same? Right.
Okay, so I'll move to the next, which is the sign height. Again, this is for 7 feet in height. The approval of the variance will or will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community.
Will not. Will not.
It will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community, as the request is to match the existing signs already, which have not been injurious. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will or will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. Gosh.
Will not. You struggle.
I will not. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner, as the request is to match the existing signs which have not affected the adjacent properties. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
The strict applications of the terms of the ordinance will or will not result in practical difficulties of the use of the property. It will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property, as directional signs are necessary to control the flow of traffic with larger vehicles, such as RVs. Increased size is necessary. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
And I will do a motion.
All right, do I have a motion for the height variance of 7 foot for the signage?
I'll motion. I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Who was the second for the first motion?
Dave.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Illy, and Kevin, who is also joining. We appreciate you guys coming on remotely, and your variance has passed. So I believe I have all of the applications from Kevin's company, so we can get those permits issued.
Thank you. And will we need to come back at some point for the actual hookups to be approved through planning commission or something?
That determination hasn't been made yet. I do not believe it's going to require development plan approval, but we'll go through just to ensure. But I think right now you're okay.
Okay, as far as the length of stay, and I'm sorry to prolong this, but that can be adjusted per location. We don't love doing that because we have to make a change in our reservation system, but there have been occasions where I've made it a maximum of 3-night stay or something. But through our standards and requirements in our rules and regulations, we make sure that the aesthetics are good for these. The RV has to be less than 10 years old. They can't have a skirt. They can't have furniture, outdoor furniture, other things like that. But we don't want people staying more than 1 or 2 nights anyway. So the average stay is basically 1 night, 1.04 nights. So I know that's a concern at a lot of these locations, but we can address that.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that, because that was a little bit concerning because it wasn't how it was presented originally, but we can definitely talk about that. I'll be in contact with you, Frank.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Doesn't seem so. Do I have someone here from MKS?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I just wasn't sure. Okay, so we can move on to the next case.
All right, case number 2025 BZA 09002, development standard variance. Staff report, please.
Yes. Again, this is a development standard variance. Owner is Trine University. Applicant was Mike Bach, as well as MKS was on here. The location is at 1 University Avenue, Keith Bussey Athletic Recreation Center. It's kind of behind that, so it doesn't have its own parcel number. This is section 18.72040, maximum structure height. Current zoning is UV. Title 18 Unified Development Ordinance. Board of Zoning Appeals 3674 series. Hearing date is today. Legal notice was sent out on September 12th to 18 property owners within 300 feet. And they were sent notice on, it was posted in the Herald Republican, and the 18 property owners were sent notice on September 11th. This is not within a floodplain. Project summary, Trine University is requesting a development standard variance for the maximum height of a structure. The university will be building a sports air dome on their campus to accommodate practice areas for outdoor sports in the off seasons. The proposed air dome will be 240 foot by 380 foot with an overall height. And this is my error because I believe it's 73 feet. Is that correct?
I believe it's 72, actually. I saw that discrepancy, too. It's between the 7 and the 8.
So I think Mike Gretsch contacted me and said with the foundation, it takes the actual height to 73. And we were a little bit confused on that. So I'll make that just...
Yeah, if we want to bump it up a foot, that's okay.
Yeah. because I do think with the foundation is what he said would bring that up a foot. So the overall height is 73 feet, requiring an 8 foot, I guess, variance. The air dome will be presented at the October 13th Plan Commission meeting to seek development plan approval. So as you can see, there's the kind of the outline here, which is where Grace and I got the 72. You guys can't see it, but that's what it says here. It's just that we weren't taking into account a foot of foundation there. But so this is kind of the initial rendering, and this is not an exact rendering by any means. So this was kind of at the very beginning of the proposal. So this is just an initial draft rendering. Just so you guys can kind of get an idea. And I can pull up Beacon to show that location on Trine's campus if we want to do that as well. The development standard variance, section 18.72040, maximum structure height is 65 feet for primary, 20 feet for accessory. So they are exceeding that. Requesting the primary structure height of 73 feet. So scratch out my 72. The property is zoned University District, and surrounding land use includes to the north. You get there. Here we go. To the north is University. To the east is Park and Rec and traditional residential. There's a railroad track that separates that property as well. And then to the south is University, and to the west is also University. I have received no public input on this. In conclusion, staff recommends approval of the proposed Trine Sports Air Dorm. We support Trine University's growth and their desire to provide top-notch resources and facilities for their athletes. And do you want, Chairman Rowe, do you want a Beacon map pulled up of the location? Would that help at all? Or do you, I mean, you can see it here, but does anybody want to see it on Beacon
I know.
board?
We all.
You guys know where it's going to be located? Okay. So that's all I have.
Are you gonna do the presentation? Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any board members that have questions about the staff report?
Well, just not that it's germane to the height, but will there be like additional drain when they actually get to the development standard? Will there be drainage changes? Because that's a lot of coverage. So just like,
Yeah, that will be, the stormwater will be addressed in that development plan approval, and they have started those comments already.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's all I.
yeah, good question. Again, any other?
No.
Okay. Just state your name. You can come to the podium.
State your name and address, please.
Name's Carter Seymour. I'm actually from Toledo, Ohio, but I'm living up here in Angola, 515-9205 Jimerson Lake. So been around town for a couple years. I'm really excited about this project, just to preface everything, but again, kind of reiterating everything. We will be kind of in the center of campus, kind of middle of university property, so away from a lot of public interaction, no real light pollution coming off of this dome. Everything will be kind of contained inside. There's hardly any windows to it. Another thing is to trying very excited to bring in some more students, kind of better the athletic programs, being able to train all winter, maybe have some off-season scrimmage type games with some other colleges, things like that. So they're super excited, and hopefully we can get some more activity here in Angola. That's really all I have to say. If anybody's got questions or.
Carter, are you with Trine University or are you with MKS?
I'm with MKS. Yeah.
Okay.
Dave, do you have questions?
I have no questions.
Not for that. No?
Mr. Chairman, may I ask? a
Yes,
question?
sure.
As Trine's original sports fan, will this dome remain inflated year-round?
That is the plan. Yeah, most of these domes, they are semi-movable / deflatable, but for the most part, it should be inflated all the year. Yep.
What kind of snow load can something like that take?
That's a good question. I don't know the exact numbers. I know actually back when I was in high school, I played in one of these over in Toledo, and we built one. And it surprised me. We had a really heavy winter that winter, and not a lot of snow sits on it. The winter
Yeah, I should imagine
kind
it
of
would
slides down. So
melt.
yeah.
And this will have, again, this will all come out at development plan approval, but it will also have like a little office up front. Is that,
Yep, there will be a little accessory building up there, kind of just a little cube entryway, which is what helps seal the dome up too. There's a door in there that once you enter, you can feel the air pressure kind of change. That's what helps keep it inflated.
right? And you guys all know, we talked about this, where it was located, just, there's no public right of way that actually gives access to it. And they did send, there was one question on plan review for the variance, and it was from the fire department for their access. And they, their architect sent a plan to just say they've addressed that concern and had an access road, and I should have printed out that copy, but, for all emergency vehicles. Because again, it's not for fans and the public to get to, so it doesn't come off of a public right of way at all. So it will have access for emergency vehicles, just FYI.
All right, thank you. We didn't get any correspondence.
I had no correspondence on that.
Correspondence. Anybody else want to speak on this issue?
We have some trying students in the audience tonight.
Any of you want to speak? No?
For or
Just here
against?
for support?
You can tell us.
Not our senior design project. Someone else's.
All right, and they don't care about it.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, are you ready for
the
findings?
Yes, please.
All right. The approval of the variance will or will not be injurious to the public health. Oh, did you close the public hearing? I'm sorry.
Close the public
Yes.
hearing.
Thank you. Will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community.
Will not.
Will not. The approval of the variance will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community, as the proposed dome is to be constructed on a portion of Trine's property that is internal and does not front any public right of way. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will or will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. It will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner, as the proposed dome will be surrounded by Trine sports fields and their own golf course. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
The strict application of the terms of the ordinance will or will not result in practical difficulties in the use of the property.
Will.
The strict application of the terms of the ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property, as the dome needs to be a certain height to be effective and useful, and a useful facility for the sports teams to practice. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Okay,
Next read then.
yes.
Should we do this with the conditions with the 73 foot or?
Yes, so condition that it will be changed as a 73 foot, yes. Thank you, Chris, for pointing that out. I think that makes sense to do it that way because it was,
With the
March,
73,
yes.
so 73. When you make the motion, state that.
yes, if you're making a motion for approval, that the approval is with the 70 foot, up to 73 feet in height, yes.
All righty. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion that is approved as presented with the exception of up to 73 feet.
Thank you.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, answer by aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
those the same? Pass.
Okay, so I'll send out everything to them tomorrow,
Okay.
the FDL, and then they'll be ready for development plan approval.
May I ask one more question?
Yes, absolutely.
At the glorious Trine football victory Saturday, they set off fireworks on the south side of the football stadium.
Ooh.
Is the material that will be the roof of this building susceptible to hot embers?
I would say yes to, I can't answer that very concretely, I guess, depending how close you are to the structure, how hot the embers are, stuff like that, there'd be a little variance. I was actually at the game Saturday too, so I think based on location of the fireworks and where the dome's at, we should be plenty good.
I'm sure they'll adjust for that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carter, very much.
Thank you guys.
Okay, whew, let me get to our next one here. I am ready whenever you are, sir.
BZA case 2025 BZA 09003.
And
Staff report.
this one is a land use variance. The owner is Angola Hillcrest Baptist Church. The applicant is Remax Realty Tim Zink. The location is 1207 South Wayne Street, section 18.80020. I don't know why I say O and then zeros. Permitted uses, dwelling units, upper floors. Neighborhood commercial is the pending rezone. Title 18 Unified Development Ordinance, Indiana Code, Board of Zoning Appeals, 3674-900 series. Hearing date is today, September 22nd. Legal notice of the public hearing appeared in the Herald Republican on September 12th. 17 property owners within 300 feet of the project were sent notice on September 11th. This is also not within a floodplain. Angola Hillcrest Bible Church is currently selling their property, and the buyers are planning to convert the building into a hair salon / spa and add a dwelling unit. Upper floor dwelling units are permitted in neighborhood commercial. Only upper floor dwelling units are permitted in neighborhood commercial. However, the buyers are hoping to keep the exterior and the footprint of the building the same and add the dwelling unit to the ground floor. The request to rezone was heard by Angola Common Council on September 15th for first reading, and that was passed unanimously. The development standard variance or use variance is permitted uses, dwelling units, upper floors only in that neighborhood commercial. So just to skip to that back, this would be a motion, if approved, on a condition that the rezone is passed. So just keep that in mind. I do have, so there's layout on that first page of the floor plan, and they kind of highlight in red there. This is how the church is shaped. And then this red area is where the unit is, and it's blown up right here. And then we have some pictures, development standards. So I noted that above is the northeast view. Below is the east view of the existing church building now. And then this next one is the southeast view here. The contextual zoning and land use. The property is currently pending the rezone from IS, institutional, to neighborhood commercial. Surrounding land uses include to the north, residential, to the east, low intensity industrial, to the south, low intensity industrial. There's some storage units there, and then there's also some residential on the other side of that. And then to the west is institutional, which is REMC. And you can see those, that zoning there and where the church is. So we had no public input. I did receive a couple phone calls from neighbors that are just to the north of this property. One of them I spoke to once they heard what was happening or what the proposed development was. They had no concerns with that. The other one left a message, so I did leave a message back on her phone to just explain what it was, and they never called back. So that is the input I have received. In conclusion, staff recommends approval. The City of Angola's comprehensive plan speaks to promote housing growth. By granting this land use variance, it will allow the expansion of an existing business and a new residence without any major changes to the neighborhood itself. And that is all I have, sir.
On staff report.
Is the fact that it's changing just not only land use, does it also affect, say, like fire suppression, multi-dwelling units, and all those codes that go with going from something commercial to something rental, residential?
So the size of it actually being the first floor is helpful when it comes to fire exits and that sort of thing. But I do not believe that the code itself will change on fire safety for that building. So it's still going to be a public use building as it was before. The remodeling, and they're having, and they can speak to that on some of the changes that they're making, but really it's gone from that institutional with public coming and going to, a salon or a spa with public coming and going. But that would be Scott's call before he does any permits to see if he thinks something needs sprinkled or
We've done
anything.
other projects in town where we've had that situation.
Yeah.
Where we've remodeled down and commercial down and
And they've
resident,
had
and they
to do-
had to do all that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, he has not mentioned that at this point, but that's a good question.
Okay.
And we'll have to see what comes up when he does his permits. But the reason that, and I kind of mentioned this earlier, that we did recommend this is because downtown commercial and neighborhood commercial only allow second floor residential. We felt like this fit into that neighborhood commercial zoning district because it is surrounded by residential. And we felt like not changing that footprint of the building and having to do a second floor just to add this apartment, it just made sense to keep it on that first floor, which is why we recommended that for that variance.
I'm fine with all that. I think it's great. I just was interested in
Yeah,
how it fits the change of code and the change of use.
Yeah, that's a great question. And
Like the church.
Yeah, and all the
Yeah.
is that possibly grandfathered in, or how is it? But again,
that will be
somebody on the
Scott, our
commission
building
is
commissioner will.
gonna know that.
Yeah, our building commissioner will look at that so this will not be coming to plan commission for development plan approval because there's nothing really being developed on the outside. This is all internal, so it's just the rezone and just the variance, and then they'll be looking at potential remodel permits. So when Scott looks at that, that will come up at that time if there needs to be something changed there, but this will be the last board that they have to appear, which they're probably very happy about because they've done plan commission for rezone and then council for rezone and now BZA.
You ready? Petitioner, please state your name and address, please.
My name's Tessa Hill, and I currently live at 2648 County Road 20, Waterloo, Indiana. And I'm really nervous. I can feel my hand shake. So we're here because our building is large and in charge. I'm used to 350 square foot right now that I run my salon out of, and we're going to 5,000 plus. So while I want and need more space, I still want it to be cozy and not so open that it's cold. So when we toured it, it already has a full kitchen, already has rooms ready for where I'm assuming the kids went and played during church services, things like that. So we thought it'd be super simple to turn that part into an apartment. So while we think that'd be super easy, the concern I'm assuming is how business and residential play with being on the same level. The parking lot is so big, and the area where the residential will be, there'll be plenty of space for the renters to have their own area of parking separate from us professionals and from our clientele. And they will not have access to the salon. It will be closed off by a construction crew. Other than the public can come in and, ask questions, reception, book appointments. The girls at the salon or myself won't have access to the residential part either. So we won't have any issues there. We thought it would be a win-win because while the income's there, I have 5 girls following me. I have a full clientele following me, consistent. It's a win-win for us as small business owners to have residential because, how do I want to say this? Cash flow, passive income, things like that. I'm a hairstylist, not a business person. It's a win-win for us and then a win-win for them because we can give it a single-family affordable living. And I think that's all I got for you.
we should have mentioned and I know it's probably on the floor plan, I pulled up the map just so you guys could see, we should have probably added that it does have its own separate
entrance.
And
the salon will still actually have 3 doors where we can exit and enter from in case of emergency.
so the apartment will enter off of right here, is that correct?
South end.
Okay, and you're not extending any parking area, they'll just have maybe a walkway or something?
Yes, a walkway.
And then the salon has entrance up here,
Which we'll probably use that as an emergency exit because there's no
parking,
right, and then they'll enter through the parking lot.
okay.
The entrance will pretty much stay the same in the parking lot for everybody, coming from the business. That's where the church entrance has been all these years. And it's really wide and has a wheelchair access, it's just real wide and open. So that'll be the main access where you come in, up in through there, waiting area. And then the salon will be all towards back where the sanctuary is on the west side. And then there's another entrance on the north side. which you could get in and out of. But the one on the south will be dedicated only to the residents. So the two will mingle, be side by side, but connected.
And that was Tim Zank, everyone, just
I'm
FYI.
just throwing in my 2 cents.
I didn't need to say, hey, stand up there and give me your. Does anybody have any questions, Dave? No. No? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Tessa.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anybody else in the audience want to speak?
So close that public hearing.
Close the public hearing.
And these findings are a little bit different because it is a use. So the approval of the variance will or will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. It will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community because the exterior of the building will not be changing at all. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will or will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. It will not. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner because the surrounding properties are mostly residential. Allowing a main floor residence will not affect the neighboring properties. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
And you guys all did agree with my first finding, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. The need for the use variance arises or does not arise from some condition peculiar to the property involved. Arises. It does arise from some condition peculiar to the property involved because the space is conducive to residential and neighborhood commercial. However, it is only 1 story and could not allow for a residence without a use variance. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Thank you. The strict application of the terms of the ordinance will or will not constitute an unnecessary hardship if applied to the property for which the variance is sought. It will constitute an unnecessary hardship if applied to the property for which the variance is sought because to expand the business to the new location and add extra services, a rental unit is part of the business plan to ensure maximum return on investment, and adding a 2nd story would change the neighborhood appeal. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
The approval does or does not interfere substantially with the Angola Comprehensive Plan.
Does not.
The approval does not interfere substantially with the Angola Comprehensive Plan because it will add a residence to Angola directly aligning with the city's housing initiatives. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Thank you. Now, I think I stated this earlier, but this would be approved on that condition, and I did put it on the condition for approval there.
Okay. Condition of rezone.
Yes, sir.
So would you prefer to have that in the motion then?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion on case 2025 BZA 09003?
Motion with the conditions
With the condition that,
that the rezone's passed.
I'll second it. All those in favor, answer by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same.
thank you guys. So you will hear from me soon. But
Thank you, guys.
fast. Okay. Whew. Finally.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Does he know?
Carter, you can leave if you want to. You don't, but you might want to just hang out with
Yeah,
us.
I kind of want to see the end.
Okay. Thank you.
Only gets better.
We're fine.
Never been to one of these.
Just for-
Just want to see it real. So do I.
Okay, I am ready.
All right. The last one. 2025 BZA 09004. Standard variance. Staff report, please.
Yes, the owner is 69 and 20 LLC. Applicant is Mark Cockcroft. Location is 206 South Shoup Street, section 18.100040, maximum primary structures, and section 18.160.190 fence location. Current zoning, they are pending a rezone as well to I-1 low intensity industrial. So These were two separate parcels, and I can pull this up on the map as well if you guys want to see it, but they are rezoning this north parcel to match the south. So that's why that rezoning is happening. Applicable code provisions is Title 18, Unified Development Ordinance, Indiana Code, Board of Zoning Appeals, 3674 series. Today is the hearing date, September 22nd. Legal notice of the public hearing appeared in the Herald Republican on September 12th, 2025. 8 property owners within 300 feet of the project were sent notice on September 11th, 2025. And this is not within a floodplain. Project summary, 69 and 20 LLC recently purchased the existing self-storage business located at 206 South Shoup Street, along with the parcel to the north. There's a pending rezone on the north parcel to match the south parcel that was presented to the Angola Common Council on Monday, September 15th for the first reading. Once rezoned, the parcels will be combined. The applicant is requesting a development standard variance for the maximum number of primary structures. They've already started refreshing the existing units and are planning to expand the business with additional units totaling 7 primary structures if the variance request is granted. The second development standard variance request is for a fence location. Due to the nature of the business, the applicant is planning to add fencing to 2 sides of the property. One section will be located in the front yard. Along the fence, along with the fence, they will be installing a coated gate at the entrance. The site plan for the project is shown below. I can get to that here. The 5 buildings shown in yellow are the proposed new buildings. The black line is the proposed fence, and I know it's hard to see on that little drawing. The entrance on the north parcel will be removed, which is right here. And all traffic will enter and exit using the southern entrance. So it already had an entrance, and you can see it way down here. Sorry, I thought I was on the map for a second. I was going to scroll it down. The south entrance is here, the north is up here, but that will be removed and only entering and exiting down here. So the maximum primary structures allowed currently in the zone district are 4. They are requesting 7 primary structures total. And then location, fences and walls are only permitted in side and rear yards, and they are asking for front yard fencing. I know that this is probably also really hard to see on here, but there is really only one section that I could tell is actually going to bring the fence in the front yard, and it is right here. So they will bring that fence alongside, and the petitioner can speak on this, alongside the buildings in all directions, but here they will protrude out to that front. So anything fronting a public right of way is considered front yard. So that's where that fence location is. Here are some photos. So the first one is facing west. The second one is facing northwest. And then the third is facing south. So this area will be those new buildings. These are what are existing now, but they have started kind of cleaning those up. And again, the petitioner can talk to that. They will be coming to Plan Commission as well for development plan approval once everything is ready to go. The contextual zoning and land use. The property is currently pending that rezone and parcel combination. Once completed, the entire property will be zoned I-1, low intensity industrial, surrounding land uses. To the north is highway commercial, to the east is highway commercial, to the south is highway commercial, except for the I-1 parcel, and then to the west is highway commercial. There has been no public input on this received. In conclusion, staff recommends approval of each variance request. Adding additional units and a fence to the property will allow economic growth and security for the self-storage business. Staff are encouraged to see the improvements to the property. As part of the gateway to Angola, improving the property will greatly benefit the city of Angola. And that's all I have, sir.
Is there a fence out there now?
He'll be a petitioner once he introduces himself. You will have to answer. I don't believe so, but.
What's your question on the staff report?
question?
So far, yeah.
Or you got anything else?
No, really don't.
All right, you're doing really well in your first
Thanks.
meeting.
I know he's like a seasoned professional
Yes.
asking all the hard questions. It's kind of annoying.
David?
I had no. I've got nothing.
All right. So, Mr. Hilliard,
Time?
name and address.
Jack, my name is Jack Hilliard, representing 69 and 20 LLC. Address is 355 Lane 298, Crooked Lake, Angola. And as she was mentioning, yeah, there will be fence, but in that north area there, there's a lot of slope. Right now, it's pretty grown over. We're trying to clear that out and save the good trees, just to give it some landscaping look, and we want to improve the look of it, obviously. All the two buildings now are gonna get painted in the next few weeks, and new roofs after it's painted.
It's gonna
The,
take us out there in case there's any questions.
The plan with the fence is we'll connect, it's mainly for security, obviously, but we just run it from corner to building to corner to building, except for that northeast corner where Rita had mentioned it protrudes out. And we're coming out with that so we have a place to push snow. So that's the main reason for that. She mentioned that drive right there is going to be disposed of, taken away.
And I
You lose a wheel.
thought we had talked about that, but I wondered, okay, so that is still happening for sure.
Yeah.
So your
it's-
coated gate will be back.
Yeah, and we're gonna do something to where nobody can turn in there and turn around, just because right now the concrete, it drops off about a foot. I won't even drive my truck through there now, so it's bad. So, yes, we're gonna clean it up, paint it up, make it look nice, because it is a visual point coming into town. The buildings to the north, we want to add climate controlled. There's not a lot of there's a lot of storage in the county, but there's not a lot of climate controlled. So we feel that that's a good thing to add. So that's kind of the reasoning that with the additional buildings. And the fence is security, and I guess we're gonna make it look a lot, I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's kind of hard to see right now. Along the highway, NIPSCO came in and cleared out as much as they were gonna clear out.
So it looks like it's all scrub brush kind of, and
Yeah, it's all scrub brush. There's a couple good trees along and into that scrub that we'll keep, and then obviously along Shoup Street, we'd add more landscaping there, just kind of, we want it to be visually appealing. So,
I can do this on, well, I mean, you can see it on the pictures as well, but sometimes it's hard to get a good.
What kind of fencing you guys thinking about?
6-foot chain link,
Chain link?
yeah.
Any, the clear, not something weave through it that,
No, the clear.
the clear, okay.
We want it to be as unnoticed as possible, but to keep people from walking in.
You're
Right.
just remembering that slats aren't allowed.
They are? I don't even know. I don't know.
No barbed wire or anything like that. 'Cause if someone wants to, yeah, if someone wants to get in, they're gonna get in, but we might as well make it a little tougher. We don't want them to be able to drive in.
That's great. I mean, anything to make that look better is awesome, so.
Yeah, so some of the new, we put our sign right over the top of the sign that was on there before, so it's got the new name on it now, but over the next few weeks, you'll see it's gonna be painted white with black trim, brand new roofs, and then hopefully once everything goes through, we'll start on climate control.
And probably plan commission, development plan approval, not in October, but probably in November is what we might shoot for.
That's to get because you need the plans for
Yeah,
yeah.
all the infrastructure, yep.
Plus, we can make that happen tomorrow is probably November, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe we might get it done tomorrow.
Okay, just don't.
Anybody have any further questions for Jack?
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Everybody in the audience? All right, let's close.
You ready for finding?
Yes, please.
The approval of the variance will or will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community.
Will not.
It will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community as the business is already existing and the additional units are being constructed in a location not causing any line of sight issues for motorists. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will or will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner.
Will not.
Will not. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner, as the expansion of the storage units will be an improvement to the existing vacant lot that has not been maintained. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
The strict application of the terms, and I should say, I'm sorry guys, these findings are for the maximum primary structures, not the fence at this time. The strict application of the terms of the ordinance will or will not result in practical difficulties of the use of the property.
Will.
The strict application in terms of the ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property as the size of the property allows for the additional buildings while still maintaining vacant areas for green space. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Okay. And then you can go ahead. This will be the same thing. So with this variance, and probably the fence as well, if you are going to motion to approve, I will need it with conditions.
Same condition for both.
Rezone.
Same condition for both, that the rezone and the parcels are combined.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Chairman.
All righty, do we have a motion?
A motion with the with the conditions that rezone and the combining parcels and the parcels. Yep.
Do I have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same?
So these will be the findings for the front yard fence location. The approval of the variance will or will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community.
Will not.
It will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community as the front yard fence still allows for vision clearance and will keep the building secure. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will or will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner.
Will not.
Will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner as there is only a small section of the fence in the front yard. The proposed fencing will help keep the building and property safe and secure. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
The strict application of the terms of the ordinance will or will not result in practical difficulties in the use of the property.
Will.
It will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property as this portion of the fence needs to be placed forward for easy movement of vehicles and, as he pointed out, snow removal, which I should add. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Okay.
All righty. Do I have a motion on the fence location?
I will make the motion to accept the variance for the fence location with the condition of the parcels combined and the rezoning.
Thank you.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, answer by aye.
Aye.
Same, pass.
Okay. So I'll get in touch. I'll call you or Mark tomorrow and you'll get your final determination letters and then we will see you. And both of you probably do not need to attend the next council meeting unless you want to for the rezone. Once it's had the first reading, and Kim, correct me if I'm wrong, typically once they've had the first reading, we don't have to have anybody present necessarily. Okay. So that's up to you guys, but it's still got 2 more readings to get your rezones passed through there. So, okay.
All right, thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you, guys.
Thank you. Do we have anything else?
I don't have anything, sir.
We have applications for this month.
I need to look at what the deadline is. If it was today, I do not think I have any variance applications for the October meeting at this point in time, but I could be wrong. I have a lot coming in, so be patient with me, but I will get through and just verify that. But at this point, I don't have anything.
Lewis, BZA member.
Yeah, he's.
Yeah, I'm just glad you made that motion here a minute ago, so that was already a mouthful, Mike.
All righty. Nothing else? Motion to adjourn?
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Question.
Okay.
Can you turn
Thanks,
this around?
guys. Yes, absolutely. All right.
What did they do with the soccer?